Hi, I'm Hanbit, and I'm a pastry chef from Korea. Hi everybody, it's Hanbit here. 안녕하세요, 조한빛입니다. As you can see right here, you can probably guess what I'm going to make today. I'm going to make Hanbit's Christmas tree Petit Gâteau. I actually came up with this idea of a Christmas tree shaped Petit Gâteau last year. So I made a few, uploaded it on Instagram, and I got a lot of messages last year asking me how to make it. So here you go, I'm unleashing my recipe. I actually made a couple of changes to last year's version to make it even better. First of all, I wanted my Petit Gâteau to really resemble a Christmas tree. So I added the trunk of a tree which I made out of Tart Crust, and now it really looks like a tree. Secondly, I made changes to the components inside the Petit Gâteau. I know I've called this a Petit Gâteau because it's really pretty, and also it's got several layers or several components inside. However, because it's Christmas, I wanted to bring out the theme of a cake, a Christmas cake. So I've taken the mousse component out and I've added in layers of Genoise and whipped cream. So this resembles more of a cake, and especially a Korean style shortcake. Anyways, this Christmas tree Petit Gâteau does take quite a bit of effort. It took me a whole day to make this, and I can't exactly say that it's easy, but it's so satisfying when you make it. And plus, it feels so Christmassy. I'll go over the structure. Usually when making tarts, I would roll them out to 2 or 3 millimeters, but in this case, the tart crust has to withstand the whole weight of the Christmas tree. So I rolled it out to 4 millimeters. And between the tart crust, I used modeling chocolate to act as the trunk. On top of that, it's just like making a strawberry shortcake. You have layers of Genoise where you apply syrup and strawberry confit. You would layer them as you would do for a strawberry shortcake, and when you're done with it, you're going to pipe the Matcha whipped Ganache, which gives this Petit Gâteau the iconic look of a Christmas tree. For both the tart crust and the Genoise, please refer to my previous uploads. I've got detailed videos on both the tart crust and the Genoise, so it'll be very helpful to watch them. I haven't included the clips in this tutorial because this video was going to become too long, so do check it out. Right, so here's my base cookie, which I'm going to use as the base. What's interesting here is that I've used a perforated mat, this mat with holes, both underneath and above the tart crust. That way I could achieve a base cookie that's flat like this. Now what I'm going to do is I want this to look a bit nicer. So I'm going to apply egg wash and bake it again. I'm going to make the trunk of the tree using chocolate, and in order to do so, I'm going to use some modeling chocolate. With modeling chocolate, you just need 2 ingredients, compound chocolate and corn syrup. The only thing you have to be careful when making this modeling chocolate is not to overmix. If you overmix it, it'll separate and you'll see the oily bit coming out. So simply add in the corn syrup to the compound chocolate and mix it well. You'll be able to feel it becoming thick, and you have to stop at the right point. So you can see that it has thickened, and I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to bring it together and wrap it up and let it sit outside for a bit. If you're working in a warm environment, you can put it in the fridge, but it's cool here today, so I'm just going to leave it outside. I'm going to leave it outside until it becomes hard enough for me to work with. So my modeling chocolate has hardened up quite a bit. It really looks like Play-Doh, doesn't it? Perfect, there's your trunk. Now that I have the cookie base and the trunk, I'll assemble them. I'll use a bit of chocolate to glue them together. Perfect, so that's all done. I feel that gold color would give more of a Christmas vibe. I'm going to apply gold dust to my base. Let's make the Matcha whipped Ganache. This whipped ganache is a type of ganache. So if you want to find out more about ganache in general, please take a look at my previous upload. Here I've bloomed gelatin in ice cold water for about 10 minutes. Heavy cream, white coverage of chocolate. I've heated the heavy cream and melted the white chocolate to around 50 degrees Celsius. This is matcha whipped ganache, so obviously I've got matcha powder and some food coloring. You do need some sort of green food coloring to bring that real kind of green color for a Christmas tree. Without the food coloring, the color will look bland with matcha alone. Pour the hot heavy cream into the melted white chocolate. and matcha powder. I'm going to use my hand blender to make the ganache. It's extremely quick. I'm going to squeeze my bloom gelatin and add that in. Right, now I'm going to add in some food coloring. Great, so that's all done. I'm just going to cover this up with cling film and store it in the fridge and use it tomorrow. It's crucial that you rest this in the fridge so that it stabilizes. Now I'm going to whip my matcha whipped ganache, which I'm going to use later to pipe the outside of the Christmas tree. Perfect, that's a great consistency. I'm going to keep this in the fridge and use it later. Right, strawberry confit. It's actually quite easy to make this. Think of this as a strawberry sauce, a thick strawberry sauce. So it's somewhere between, let's say, a strawberry syrup and a strawberry jam. I'll go over the ingredients. Strawberry puree. I'm using store-bought strawberry puree today, but you can use fresh strawberries or frozen strawberries. Simply blend it smooth and it'll turn into puree. Sugar, cornstarch, and this cornstarch is going to help thicken this confit, and lemon juice. Before I start, I'm going to pre-mix the cornstarch with the sugar because the cornstarch can become lumpy. Now adding the sugar and cornstarch into the strawberry puree. Just keep stirring and you'll see the puree thickening into a sauce. Right, you can see it thickening, so stir it well. Once it reaches its max thickness, then just stir it for like another half minute. At the moment, it's fairly runny, but once it cools down, it'll become thick. So I'm going to cool this down, keep it in the fridge, and use it later. I'm going to make the insert cream, and this is just basically whipped cream that goes inside the Christmas tree. So it needs to be fairly thick so that it can withstand the overall weight. Heavy cream, sugar, mascarpone cheese, and Cointreau, which is an orange liquor. Mascarpone cheese and Cointreau make this whipped cream taste even better, but if you don't have it, you can leave it out, it's fine. So I'm going to add everything in, sugar, mascarpone cheese, and Cointreau. And I simply have to whisk it, that's it. I'm happy with the thickness of this whipped cream, so I'm going to store it in the fridge and use it later. Now what I'm going to do is cut out the discs. So discs of Genoise. I'm going to have 3 layers of Genoise, and each layer will become smaller as it goes up. As usual, just tap tap would do, because if you scrape it, you're going to scrape the crumbs off. And now I'm going to apply the strawberry confit. This is really going to reinforce the overall strawberry flavor. Great, so that's done. So I'm now ready to start the assembly. Here I have the base, so now I'm going to do the final assembly, where I'm going to layer the Genoise, whipped cream, and strawberries. Now I'm going to smooth the side in the shape of a cone. Great, so that's in the shape of a cone. I'm now going to put this in the freezer for just about 10 minutes. I'm just going to firm it up a bit before I work on the final layer. Now I'm almost ready to do the piping, but I first need to prepare the piping bag. And the characteristic design of this Christmas tree comes from the piping. The secret behind the piping is how you cut the end, the tip of the piping bag. I'm going to cut this piping bag at an angle like this. So take a look. I'm going to cut this at an angle. You can see that I've cut this at an angle. And that's how you get that characteristic design. Right, I'm fully ready now. Let's start the piping. Now it's time to try my Christmas tree Petit Gâteau. Matcha and strawberry is a classic pairing that's used widely, so it just works. And it works beautifully here. I'm glad that I used the strawberry confit because without it, it would only be the fresh strawberries that would give the strawberry flavor, and that wouldn't be enough because the matcha flavor would overpower it. So I think I achieved a good balance between matcha and strawberries here. In terms of the texture, it's on the lighter side because it's got genoise and whipped cream just like you would for a Korean style shortcake. But there's a touch of heaviness that comes from the matcha whipped ganache, which is nice. Anyway, overall, this is a delicious Christmas tree Petit Gâteau. Hope you've enjoyed this video on Hanbit's Christmas tree Petit Gâteau. Looking at these Christmas trees here, they're so pretty and it already feels like Christmas. Hope you watch my other Christmas themed desserts that I've uploaded. You'll thoroughly enjoy them. Well, Merry Christmas and I'll see you next time. 즐거운 성탄절 보내세요. 감사합니다.